How to set a static IP address in Rocky Linux. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to show you how easy it is to set a static IP address in Rocky Linux 9 from the terminal. A little background on Rocky Linux. Rocky Linux 9 is a brilliant server operating system that comes from the man who created CentOS. I forgot his name at the moment, but I know it's the same guy. Now, this OS offers plenty of features that well serve the enterprise needs. But given that most admins are already familiar with the likes of RHEL and CentOS, that we shouldn't have any problem getting up to speed with Rocky Linux. It's new to me, so I shouldn't have any problem. I've used RHEL before. Okay, however, there is one issue that we'll need to deal with almost immediately, and that's the IP address. Now, out of the box, Rocky Linux defaults to DHCP dynamic for its IP addressing needs. Yeah, you can configure a static IP address during installation, but sometimes that step tends to get past admins because they want to get the OS up and running quickly. Even I found myself guilty of forgetting to set the IP address, to manual static in the name of speed. So when that happens, what do? Well, you do what all good admins do. You don your Linux hat and you dive into the configuration. So let me show you how it's done. Okay, so what we'll need to set a static IP address in Rocky Linux are two things. We'll need a running instance of Rocky Linux 9 and a user with sudo privileges. And my Rocky Linux installed without a GUI. It's in text mode. So we're gonna set everything in the terminal from the command line. Okay, so let's get to work. Okay, so let's log into our. Here's my POP. Here's the terminal here, and I'm going to secure shell into my Rocky Linux on a different machine on a remote server. You can see here I'm going to secure shell into the Rocky Linux, which lives here at this IP address here, 1.4. And I'm going to go ahead and authenticate and get into my Rocky Linux. Okay, we're in. Just to verify it and get some information, we'll do a neofetch. Here's a neofetch Rocky logo. Rocky Linux 9. Okay, that's what we want. Rocky Linux 9. And you can see some of your information here. Not really important for this tutorial. Okay, so we're gonna clear out of there. Okay, so now that we're in, the first thing we're going to do is locate the name of the network interface that we're going to use. So we're going to use the IPA command. The IP with an A switch. See, there's no wireless here, just the Ethernet connection. And you can see here we're going to use the 1.4. Okay? Now we're going to go with the name. It's not so much we're going to key in on the IP address at this point, but we're going to key in on the actual name of the Ethernet connection, which is these ENP1S0F0. So we're going to look for this in our editor program that we're going to edit the connection with. Okay, so we're going to clear out of there. And we're going to be using an ncurses tool named nmtui, so we can edit the connection. Okay, so let's go ahead and launch that program. Network Manager user interface. Okay. You can arrow up and down here. We're going to go to the first. Select this first option here. See your Network Manager UI. Okay, so we're going to edit the connection, and we're right where we want to be. There's no other connections to arrow up and down, so we're where we want to be, and we'll just tab over, and we're going to edit that. And then I'm going to come down here, and we're going to actually I already put everything in. You see the address here. I'm going to use the same IP address, that private LAN internal address that is already assigned from DHCP. I'm going to go ahead and make that static. And then I got the gateway. You can get this from your modem. Now it's not your public WAN address, your public external WAN address, but it's a different private address on your modem for the gateway. And then I added the DNS servers. Now normally in network in a network connection in the GUI, you could put these, the primary and the secondary DNS servers on the same line and separate them with a comma. Here they have to be on separate lines. So for DNS servers, for the primary, I've got 8844, 88, and then 8888 for the secondary. These are Google DNS. These are Google DNS servers, and they're not the ISP provided DNS servers. Okay, so once you've filled out these 4 fields here, the IP address, the gateway, and the 2 DNS servers, then you can go ahead and just tab down to OK, and we're going to OK on that. And now we're going to have to activate this. So we edited the connection here. Now we go back and we're going to activate it. And it's already been activated. I already did it before. It was already activated. And if you want to deactivate it, you can go there. Otherwise, it's already been activated. And then I did a restart on the server. And we're back in the terminal here. And we're just going to do a couple of quick checks here on make sure everything that was changed is what we want it to be. Now, for the first to check the IP address, we're going to use ifconfig. Now it's been deprecated, I know, but I still like to use it. It gives me what I need for the most part. Although I think it's been replaced by the IP command. Ifconfig wasn't here out of the box, so I had to use a command to actually install it, and that command was dnf install net-tools. Now this gave me the ifconfig utility. You can see it's already been installed, but this is the command I had to run to install ifconfig. So we'll clear out there and we'll call ifconfig and we'll take a look at that and we'll see what the address is. You can see it's the same as before. Maybe I should have changed it to a different one just so that we can have a change. I guess that was not a very good move. Maybe I should use a different IP address here. So this is what it was, and I just wanted to change it. So I should have probably used a 0.5 or something else other than 4. But I guess you can go ahead and just change that to whatever from what you have. You can just change the last digit here for the host. Of course, you can verify that it's working after numerous reboots. If it stays the same, then it's probably static at that point. But yeah, I should have probably used a different IP address here. Okay, so we'll clear out of there, and now we're going to check the gateway. And the command for the gateway is IP route. Now that was already installed, just had to call it. And here it is. This is a different. I looked this up. I was kind of unsure what that was. There's so many IP addresses, but this is what I got from the modem. This was the actual gateway. Again, it's not the public external WAN address, but it's more like an internal LAN address, internal private LAN address on your modem. So that's the gateway that I set. And then we'll check the DNS. We'll check the DNS with a command here, with the cat command, and we're going to dump out a certain configuration. So to check the DNS was changed. Now that one was definitely changed because it was defaulted to the ISP DNS servers. So this one will definitely show that there was definitely a change made when we edited the connection. So we're going to use the cat command to dump out the contents of this configuration file here, and this is the path. It's in the etc folder, and it's resolve without the e .conf, which is configuration. So it's a configure CFG file that's called resolve, and obviously DNS resolves. A forward lookup, you type in the name and it gives you the IP address, and it maps to the IP address. And a reverse lookup would be if you key in the numerical IP address, and it'll send you to the name. So you get the primary lookup and the reverse lookup. So the primary lookup is name to IP, and then the secondary lookup, or the primary lookup is name to IP. Secondary lookup would be IP to name. So it's resolving. So this is what this right here stands. Resolve. It's resolving IP addresses and to the names. Okay, so let's see what the actually, I'm sorry. It's not primary and secondary lookup. I forgot it. It's forward lookup and reverse lookup. So forward lookup is name to IP, and reverse lookup would be IP to name. So let's take a look at the IP address, the DNS addresses here. Okay, this reflects what we changed. Probably normally before it would have been the whatever came from the ISP. So we changed it to Google DNS. You can change it to whatever third-party DNS server you want to change it to. I like to go with DNS. It's easy to remember, and Google's a big name, so I use it. It's easy to remember. 8844 for primary, 8888 for secondary. That's pretty much about it. And then of course, like I said before, I tested it by just doing a DNF update command, and it seemed like it was going through. Nothing going. So yeah, it didn't fault or anything. So I think we're okay there. Okay, so yeah, once you activated the interface, you did a reboot, and then you checked everything, and everything's in effect. And that's all there is to setting a static IP address on Rocky Linux 9. Again, if you're paying attention during the installation process, you can take care of this task before the OS installation is completed. But if you're like me and some other system admins, and sometimes you overlook that step, now you have the knowledge to fix that oversight. Okay, so thank you for watching. I look forward to your comments and your feedback. Thank you.